Hi there, and welcome to the cult. My name is Aaron. See, science fiction television is one of my favorite types of TV to watch, whether it be Star Trek or Outer Limits or Twilight Zone. I tend to sit down and just kind of let myself dive into those. But tonight I didn't want to talk Star Trek. In fact, I kind of want to do a video down the road on the in the Call of TV talking about and ranking all the Star Trek shows. And I still have a couple seasons to watch on some of the newer stuff before I can do that. So what I want to do tonight was take a top seven sci-fi series that aren't Star Trek, and that for some of these may not be as known quite as well. So here in the cult tonight, we're going to look at 7 TV shows that you can collect, some on Blu-ray, some on DVD, that aren't Star Trek, but they're a hell of a lot of fun. Tonight in the cult. In eighth place, created by Rockne S. O'Bannon, is this series right here, coming from Mill Creek on Blu-ray, is seaQuest DSV, which would change its name in the third season. See, seaQuest lasted from 1993 to 1996. It started off with Roy Scheider as the captain for the first 2 seasons. When it changed its name to seaQuest 2032, they brought on Michael Ironside, trying to give it a more kind of action, military-esque style to it. Initially, seaQuest was meant to have this sort of kind of like educational aspect slant to it as well. And I really dug the show when it came on. I really, really love seaQuest. It was just one of those shows that I could sit down and watch anytime. It was a great role for Jonathan Brandis. Unfortunately, would pass away young. We'd have like Ted Raimi in here. It was a wonderful cast, and there are some great episodes. And it was really neat to see science fiction that didn't have good space to explore kind of new aliens, new kind of new worlds. When you live on a planet where the largest portion of that planet you don't normally get to explore, the water, they went in there and explored the water, talked about ecology and stuff early on, and this was a really, really good show. If you've never seen it, I strongly recommend this one. It's a great series. And I do like the way that they put it together here. Sadly, the third season would be shorter than the rest of the seasons. It would only be 13 episodes. But there were like deleted scenes and interviews throughout this set, so it wasn't like a set that didn't have anything on it. Anson Williams, Potsy from like Happy Days, directed some of this. It was a great show. I think it was highly underrated, and if you've never seen seaQuest, definitely check it out. I always recommend buying the show, but I'm sure it's on like probably on Tubi or something like want to just get a feel of it for it streaming wise. But anytime it's a TV show and you find that you like it, if you go and you watch an episode or two and you find that you're liking it, it's best to go and get it, because on streaming services, I find that like TV shows don't normally last, or if they do, they sometimes get cut down for syndication or whatnot. But yeah, if you find yourself liking the show like I do, it's not expensive. It's definitely worth picking up. seaQuest DSV and seaQuest 2032. The whole series is right here with an attendance set from Mill Creek. Now on to number 7. In 7th place, Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. Grew up loving this show. It's by Glenn A. Larson and Leslie Stevens. This one lasted for 2 seasons, and that's a total of 37 episodes. I remember like staying home from school to watch this one come on in the mornings. My grandparents would go to town, and when they did, I would circle back, pretending that I'm going to school, come back, and I'd stay at least for the first half. I'd go in after recess, after Buck Rogers was over. I really dug this show. It changes in the first and second season a bit, but it does have that feel. Jill Gerard is perfectly cast in this. We got Pamela Hensley and Erin Gray in this one as well, and Henry Silva's in this. I love the kind of the Hawkman character. Of course, we have the voice of Mel Blancs here as a character of Twiggy. Uh, I think this is really cool, sci-fi action fun, and this set was put out by Universal. Now this also I think it's got a Blu-ray release right now, but this initial set right here is I still have the old school one, and I kind of want to upgrade it because yeah, it's got flipper discs. So eventually I want to be able to upgrade this series. But there's some great aliens on here, some great adventure stuff, and a lot of fun. Glenn Larson going to do a lot more when it comes to television. But Buck Rogers was one of those that I watched as a kid, and I still love to watch today. And in sixth place, Babylon 5. J. Michael Straczynski's idea to do a series with that has 5 seasons and tell a complete story, whole space opera, and epic storytelling. Was he able to do it? Well, actually, he was. Even though they initially made him think that he wasn't, it made him kind of rush it a bit in the 4th season, changing up a few of the plans. But it didn't just do the 5 seasons. No, they actually gave them films as well. So you see, there were 6 TV films with this series as well. 6 TV films, 5 seasons, plus a spin-off series called Crusade, which unfortunately did not last as long as it should have. Initially, in the first season, they switched. Well, by the second season, they switched up the main actor. The first season actor was Jeffrey Sinclair, and then it would switch over to John Sheridan. So Michael Herr came in at first, and he would leave after the first season. He would guest spots in 2 and 3, but Bruce Boxleitner would become like kind of the face of the show. But there were a lot of really good aliens on there as well. Great actors. Claudia Christensen was in this. Really, really good. We had Adrian Thompson in this one as well. But the kind of the standouts were characters like Garibaldi, who is incredible in this. The aliens are so good. And they change. They change from what you think they're going to be. You may think you know who the bad aliens are and the good aliens are, but it switches it up. It really goes in some uniquely different ways. I love this series here. I think that Babylon 5 is an absolutely stunning series. I have the entire series plus the TV movies, as well as the Crusade spinoff series as well. I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a great journey. It doesn't let you down, and I think that J. Michael Straczynski really, really did a good job of taking that series and running with it. I kind of wish that if they ever pick somebody for Doctor Who that isn't like from the UK, then Straczynski would be a great choice. And with that being said, let's go to number 5. In 5th place, one of my favorites, Sliders, created by Robert K. Weiss and Tracy Torme. Sliders is an excellent series of parallel dimensions and universes, doing it better than you would see in like the MCU or something like that. They did it right, especially for the first 2 seasons. Now, eventually and unfortunately, the series of Sliders would be absolutely ruined by David Peckinpah, who definitely became showrunner and feels like he hated the show because he did everything he could to sabotage it. Getting rid of their initial cast. He initially had Jerry O'Connell playing Quinn Mallory. We had John Rice Davies playing Maximiliano Arturo. We had Wade Wells, was played by Sabrina Lloyd, and the crying man himself, Rembrandt Brown, played by Cleavant Derricks, who was probably more famous on like stage than he was on television, but he would be the one actor that would be there through all 5 seasons. It lasted for 8 episodes, which is a decent, solid run. Its first 2 seasons will be on Fox, with its last 3 seasons unfortunately being on the Sci-Fi Channel. And you would think with the Sci-Fi Channel they'd be able to do something good with it, but no, the Sci-Fi Channel ruined the show, totally wrecked it, and made it almost unrecognizable. Now, I initially had planned to put in Mystery Science Theater here on this list, but I decided that it kind of, yes, it is science fiction, but it's kind of its own thing, so I didn't put it on the list here, and I almost didn't put Sliders here because of the severe dip in quality. But even the worst scenes of Sliders I can watch, because a good episodes of Sliders is magnificent. And a okay episode of Sliders is still good. A bad episode of Sliders is bad though. But those are often few and far between. Usually, if you hear the word Cro-Mags, those are the ones you don't watch. But Sliders overall, especially the first two seasons, are gold. And more recently, they were at a convention and they all want to bring the show back. So let's see how that goes. In fourth spot. In fourth place, we have our first British show, and that is Blake 7. This lasted 4 seasons and was created by Tier Nation, the same guy that brought us to Daleks and Davros. So, but this is a really, really good series. Initially, when I first saw it, it took the place of Doctor Who for a while on PBS, and I was not happy with that because I'm a massive Doctor Who fan. But this show really sucked me in, and it took me to places I didn't expect it to go. Blake 7 obviously was about Blake and his crew that went around, they were criminals per se, but they were going against, of course, the evil good guy. It starred Paul Darrow and Gareth Thomas. It was an incredibly well-done series, and it went from 1978 to 1981. If you've never seen Blake 7, I really do recommend that you check it out because it does have a fairly definitive ending. You follow the characters from Blake 7, and characters come and go throughout the series. Even the titular character himself leaves for a bit. But don't worry, you'll find out what's going to happen in the end because, you'll find out. It's a 4-season run. They have some audios that they do as well, but it was such a good series, and I definitely recommend it. Most of the actors from Blake 7 you'd see on other things, and even like Colin Baker, who played the Sixth Doctor, would be in an episode of Blake 7 too. Of course, Paul Darrow was probably one of the most infamous episodes of Doctor Who. Look it up. But 4 seasons. These are now getting Blu-ray releases. There's 2 of these have been released on Blu-ray so far, I think, but all 4 will be eventually released. This is the original DVD series that came out. You can see the stickers on them still, right? So I got these at a Salvation Army shop, and I couldn't believe it. All 4 seasons were there. They were like UK releases, so I didn't expect to see them here. But they've since gotten, at least the first 2 so far, I think, have gotten like Blu-ray releases, and the next 2 are getting released as well. So definitely pick up Blake 7. It's a great series. Definitely more serious and a bit more dour than some of the shows that we look at. Definitely more serious than stuff like Sliders. But it really goes in some dark places, much like Babylon 5 does too. So there's a similarity. If you like Babylon 5, you're probably going to like Blake 7. The characters are definitely in a world of gray as opposed to black and white. So check it out. And in third place. In third place is Space 1999, done by Jerry and Sylvia Anderson. This is such a cool show. I used to watch this growing up. The first season especially. The second season is fun. It's more Star Trek-y, but the first season is darker and a lot more introspective. A lot of the actors would change from the first to second season. And although I like each season for what it is, the first season for me is the superior season of the show. Even though I do like the alien changing character from the second season by Catherine Schell. This here, now this is the old school A&E box set. There's a really great set that came out from Imprint for this series here. It's like definitely the definitive version of this one. This one went from 1975 to 1977. It spanned 48 episodes. It also had some of the episodes like kind of put together to make like movies as well, especially in different regions. The first season was produced by Sylvia Anderson, with, of course, Jerry Anderson as the executive producer, like most Anderson shows. But the second season was done by Fred Freeberger, and that is where things went a little bit different. They wanted to make it more Star Trek, wanted to make it more of that style of series. There was going to be a third season, but it just never came about. Or third series, I should say, because this again is a British show, and it's almost made it to the first and second spot. But I changed some things around at the last minute. Though there are episodes of this that still, to this day, creep me out and give me nightmares. There's a episode of the series about this guy that has come back. He's the only survivor of this mission. He's trying to tell people about this horrible, like, creepy-ass, like, one big-eye thing, alien, that attacked his crew ship. People don't quite believe him, but he wants to prove how right he is. And unfortunately, he decides to go back to where that happened, knowing that that's probably going to mean his doom. Space 1999 is just one of those shows that, for me, even the worst episode of Space 1999 is better than a lot of TV sci-fi that's out there today. Even the more Star Trekian like era of the show is still a lot of fun. You can't go wrong with an episode of Space 1999, in my opinion. Even the worst ones are really great. And there's not many worse. It's a really good, solid show. First season is definitely more high concept than the second season. And you're going to find a lot of people that are going to like the second season a lot more because it's more action adventure, more space opera per se than the first season is, where they want to go kind of like sometimes a bit loftier and sometimes a bit more draggy episodes. But I dig that. Not everybody does. So you may actually like the second season better than the first. But either way, Space 1999 has something for everybody. And it's a fantastic show. And in second place, so we started this video with a Rockne S. O'Bannon series with Sequest DSV, but this is his magnum opus. This is the series that just seems to do just about everything absolutely right. It runs 88 episodes, and this is another one of the A&E sets. This is fantastic, by the way. This has a Looney Tunes style episode in it, and it is a absolutely gorgeous piece of cinema. It was 4 seasons and stars Ben Broder, Claudia Black, and Virginia Hay. It is so good. This is such a good show. If you've never seen this, like 100%, check this one out. Farscape really takes chances, does a lot of really different things. It was supposed to have gone for 5 seasons. Now, there was also a 3-hour miniseries called Peacekeeper Wars, which definitely worth putting into your collection as well. I really wish you would have got the whole 5 seasons, but without that being said, this was like Jim Henson's company worked on the aliens on this one here. So you got a lot of these kind of like practical effects and puppets and stuff. And I love that, the way that this is done. It does things in such a uniquely different, wonderful way that it kind of almost goes back to the Anderson style of things, as well as going kind of with the more newer, some action and avant-garde. It combines like Space 1999 seasons 1 and 2, but without making them seem like a ton of whiplash. It can do an animated episode and make one of the best things you've ever seen. And the cast has such great chemistry together. This is one of the first things that me and my better half actually started watching together when I met her. She was a massive fan of this show, and I knew it but didn't know much about it. So she really turned me on to the series, and I absolutely adored it. I'm due for a rewatch actually. If you've never seen this, make sure that you fix that and see this one here. This here is a massive set. You can see the Jim Henson company logo right there on the bottom. But Rockne O'Bannon had some great series. Like those were the only 2 that he did either. When he was doing sci-fi stuff, he also did the series Defiance. He did Cult, and he did Alien Nation, which severely underrated. And the only reason it's not on this list is because I don't own the series. So where does that leave number 1? Well, if you know me, you probably know what number 1's going to be. But let's not beat around the bush anymore, because we've had some great shows here so far, haven't we? Some really good shows. I want to know yours, by the way. Let me know what your top 8 series are below. I was initially going to do this as 7, so if you watch the beginning of this video, it'll say it like it's 7, but I couldn't decide on which one. Neither one of these could be put for me in the honorable mentions. These all were solid ones that deserve to be on the list. That being said, number 1, yeah, you're going to guess it, because it is exactly what you think it is. And in first place, well, of course, Doctor Who, created by Sidney Newman, and along with C.E. Weber and Donald Wilson. Doctor Who is the longest running of all the shows on here. The initial 26 series or seasons of Doctor Who went from 1963 to 1989, the year I graduated from high school, and had a total of 7 different doctors playing the Doctor in the show. It would have a TV movie that was meant to start a new series, kind of a BBC North American series, would be on Fox, and that would have the 8th Doctor, Paul McGann. Then the series would get picked up again in 2005 and would go for another 15 seasons of the show, and then would have a bunch of other doctors, as well. The latest being Shutagatwa. And when he initially came back, the doctor was Christopher Eccleston. It's probably one of my favorites when it comes to this here. And until recently, it was really hard collecting the classic episodes of Doctor Who. It ran 26 seasons, so that was a long show to collect. And it was only more recent that they started collecting them in Blu-ray in these sets. So the initial ones are, this is the UK releases. These are the limited edition ones. They have this kind of J card on them right here, which you can take off. You can see the artwork, and you open it up like this. There's a console and there's a book inside here talking about the series. Each one of the discs gets its own artwork. And it's a lot of fun. In North America, we wouldn't get that luxury. We would get these here releases, and rather than kind of follow the numbering of the series from like 1 to 26, every time we went to another doctor, they went to season 1 and did it like that, so we wouldn't confuse our North American brains, I guess. But it's loaded with features from both these here. The UK ones usually sometimes have a couple more features on them than the US ones do. And initially there was like a sheet of paper with like just telling what was on it, but most of them didn't have anything. And the only way to tell difference is like looking at the disc itself and saying, okay, well, this is 4 to Doomsday because it says so in those little words right there. But that being said, still, no matter which way you collect it, it's really worth collecting. This is Peter Davison's first series of Doctor Who. And it's an 8-disc set here. Both these are 8-disc sets. And they're going through trying to collect all of the original Doctors. Now, one of the things with this is that the initial series, especially the first and second Doctor, William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton, had a lot of their episodes that were lost and are still missing to this day. Their audio is there, and sometimes they'll have like telesnaps, basically pictures that they can do. So they've animated the episodes in a lot of cases for those episodes that were lost to time. It's really interesting, really fun, because every once in a while it seems like there's been people, like collectors and stuff, that actually have held on to Doctor Who, like, and never let anybody like see them. And now every once in a while it seems like one or two finds its way there. It's not like they're like the BBC's hiding them or anything like that. They just don't have them, and they have to do a lot of legal wrangling with people to get the Doctor Who series back. But it's an amazing series. It's probably one of the best. Terry Nation, of course, who did Blake 7, which was listed in, I think, my 4th place, or 4th or 5th place, was Blake 7. So he created the Daleks. Then Doctor was initially going to be a series that was going to be talking about and dealing with the, with a lot of kind of like, same way DSV started, Sequence DSV. We're taking things cyclical right now. I'm coming back to the beginning. Is that was supposed to be more educational and be more of a family show, something that could be like a drama show for kids that they could watch. It would be serialized, much the way the early series run, like Flash Gordon and with Buster Crabbe and stuff like that. And it did do that, but they wanted to keep away from like these kind of like bug-eyed monsters or these kind of just creepy like alien type creatures. But in the first series of Doctor Who, the first season, they created the Daleks. And the Daleks became runaway smash hits to the point where, because back then, the Terry Nation created them. Doctor Who didn't own them, Terry Nation did. So he did try to actually take the Daleks and spin them off onto their own and get them away from Doctor Who. Every time that didn't happen, though, they'd come back to Doctor Who again and again. And it was really kind of cool to see the Daleks in the show. But there were so many good villains, where it's the Master, the Cybermen, the Ronnie, and a host of other like characters throughout the years. You'd get actors like David Tennant come on, and Tom Baker, who played the definitive Doctors from their eras. You have like some kind of the more perennial, like kind of like underdog fan favorites, like Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy, and like Peter Capaldi and Jodie Whittaker, that are favorites, like that people kind of like fight me. I love these Doctors type of thing, and it's just such a fun series that I absolutely adore. And I knew this was going to be #1 going in, and it's really fun to go on and start collecting them now. There's a few series out there in the classic series, Now, you don't have to start with the classic if you don't want to. You can go just start over with the 2005. There's different jumping on points. You can go with the classic stuff and just choose a doctor that you like, or you can go with the newer stuff and you start with Eccleston, or maybe you want to just start with Tennant because you can do that actually. Or more recently, they kind of rebooted it again, sort of like they didn't. It's ongoing. Like there's no like not a reboot in the way like it's restarting it, but in like there's different jumping on points. So Jodie Whittaker's Doctor was meant to be a jumping on point for people that hadn't watched Doctor Who before, that were worried more about the long history of it. They started the first series of Doctor Who for Jodie Whittaker with newer aliens and none of the older ones that had kind of like a lot of lore and background stuff tied to them. And they did a kind of similar with the newest Doctor, which was Shudigatwa, and for him, they did try to make it again more easy to come into if you had never seen Doctor Who before. But they still tried to put in a lot of fan service for people that have been watching for a long time. In my opinion, maybe a little bit too much fan service because it could be a bit confusing for people that were coming in new. But we haven't had a bad Doctor yet. That's something that you can't say for a lot of shows. And it's just been an amazing series all the way through. I love Doctor Who. I'm a massive fan of it, and I cannot wait till it comes back again, which is Christmas special of 2026. I'm counting those days down. But Doctor Who is a series that meant a lot to me growing up and means a lot to me today as an adult. So easily number one. Hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed talking about it. What are your favorite sci-fi shows of all time? No Star Trek. Remember, that's going to be in its own special video altogether. But what sci-fi shows did you watch growing up? What sci-fi shows do you watch now? Do you collect any of these? Are you a Farscape person? I'd really like to hear from people there, especially if they're Farscape people. If you're a Lex person, I wouldn't mind hearing from you as well, because Lex is one of those shows that if I'd had it in my collection here, would have made it onto this list for 100%. This would have been a top 10 list. As it is, it's a top 8 list. I really regret not making it a top 10 and putting Mystery Science Theater somewhere near the beginning, but that is what it is. Mystery Science Theater gets its own video down the road as well, and I will eventually do Mystery Science Theater, and maybe, if you really want it, I'll rank the Mystery Science Theater seasons as well. My name's Aaron. I will see you next time. Happy sci-fi watching. Top 8. Tell me what your top 8 are, and let me know where you think I got it right and where you think I got it wrong. See you next time.
Oh God. Subscription sloth here. Just want to remind you that I know in the summertime especially it can be super warm and lazy. But if you're liking this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to go that step further and join the Patreon, there's a link for that down below. You can super sticker, super chat, or donate. But above all, just lie back and enjoy the video, because that's what I'm going to do.